Welcome to Go Publish Yourself. These are the author spotlights. I'm Justine Bilo, the author acquisitions manager for IngramSpark. We have such a fun guest for you today. We are joined by the absolutely fabulous Carrie Ann Ryan. Carrie Ann is the New York Times and USA Today best-selling author of contemporary and paranormal romance. She has written over 50 books. Some of her works include The Montgomery Inc., The Redwood Pack, The Talon Pack, and Gallagher Brothers series, which have sold over 2 million books worldwide. So crazy. Welcome, Carrie Ann.
Thank you so much for having me. And as you say that, I think I need to update my blurb a bit, because I think I have more than that now.
Oh, I'm sure you do. You write so many books. It's insane. You have kind of an interesting story about how you came to writing. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sometimes I feel like I fell into it because I was in graduate school for chemistry with a physics emphasis. And so I used to be a scientist and used to help teach that. And as I was doing that, I found this little book called Twilight. And I fell in love
Just a little
with
book.
anything YA and romance. And along the way, I realized that I wanted to see if I could do it. And then I think right now, 63 books later, I think I really like it.
60, I can't believe you're up to 63. You are amazing. So yeah, I would hope 63 books later. Yeah, that it's what you love. And you've been like a fully indie author your entire career, correct?
Yes. A few people thought that I actually started with traditional before moving to indie, but no, my first book back in 2011 was indie, and every single book that I've ever published, except for my books of 1001 Dark Nights, are all indie. But that series that I helped write in is also an indie project. So yep, all the books.
Wow, we love that here at Spark. Like that makes our hearts sing a little bit, but that's incredible. And so you came to be an indie publisher in 2011, and that was really in the beginning of the whole movement. And so what's it been like to be kind of one of the pioneers, so to speak, of like the indie publishing movement?
So for me, I don't feel like I am a pioneer. I feel like I'm just the person that wanted more control. So I started doing indie for that reason, and because with my school schedule and with work scheduling, I didn't want to have anyone else rely on me. So I wanted everything on my own.
Yeah.
And so I started at an age where there was only a couple ways that you could be indie published. And as more things have opened up, like working with Ingram, I've slowly added those into my daily things I have to be as an indie publisher.
Yeah. It's changed so drastically in the past few years too.
Completely. So, I think it's changed since last week at this point.
Oh, yeah. If you can say that again, it literally changes overnight. How do you deal with those changes? You know, how do you keep up with all of it?
The honest answer is I don't. I try my best, but sometimes I work with some amazing other authors who are either as prolific as me or far more successful than I am. Thankfully, that they help share their expertise, and I share whatever I have as well. And so when new things do come out or changes come to algorithms or the way that things are printed or the way that we want to advertise, we try to work through the mess and figure out exactly how we are going to fit in that. And sometimes it doesn't work, and sometimes we get lucky, and sometimes all the math in my brain behind my decisions actually works.
So do you think like your background in science and math and all of that has definitely helped in figuring all of that out?
I think 100% yes. And I know that there are many authors without that background or without that way that the way that their brain works and have still figured it out. But for me, the business side while stressing me out because it is a job, also soothes me because I like spreadsheets and numbers and trying to figure out paths. And once I'm calm that way, I can be creative in writing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you are known in romance circles for being a very, very prolific author. I mean, you did 63 books in 7 years, so that's pretty crazy. Like, bow down. So how do you write so many books and also run your publishing business at the same time?
So I will say I've slowed down a bit. I'm only up to like 7 books and a novella a year. So I mean,
only
I know.
7.
And the thing is I do have a structured system of how I work during the day. I do think of it as a 9 to 5 job, even if it's not 9 to 5. And I figured out what time of day I write well and what time of day I do admin well, and I stick to that. And I don't work weekends. That was something when my late husband was alive, we had decided that either one of us weren't going to work weekends because he was a chemist. And even when we were in grad school, we wanted time together for us and our cats. And
absolutely.
So we wanted to see the world. And so even with all my business and all my writing, I think the fact that I do take breaks helps me write more. And I am a fast writer. And that does help a lot. But with the businessing side, I'm a huge spreadsheet and list maker. So there's nothing better than to be able to highlight or check something off a list. So if I can have that list down, I think I can do the next step. It is, especially color-coded highlighting, but that's a whole other podcast.
Yeah, that's like geeky on a whole level. That just like makes me happy.
Yes, well, that's me.
This is why we get along. Clearly, I love that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I as you know, I love romance, and as our listeners know, I love romance. I talk about it entirely too often on the podcast. But most of your characters are like these awesome, tattooed, bearded, handsome alpha wolves, which, yeah, just threw a curveball there at our listeners. Yes, they're alpha wolves. But what about these guys inspires you to write these amazing stories?
So I'd say about right now, about half of my books are paranormal romance, half are contemporary. By next year, I think the number will be more contemporary just because where I started and where I'm at now. And so the alpha wolves parts come from that. And there are alpha dragons too in that world. But
yes.
I like writing big guys you wouldn't think would be fragile or you wouldn't think would have any type of sensitivity. Ironically, my dad just read, I did a free romance in my newsletter and my dad's a subscriber and I forgot. And so he was reading it and was like, and so that I was like, well, maybe not read this one chapter, Dad. I'm just saying. And so, but he was like, he said, your characters are very well developed. He's like, but your dudes, they're very strong, growly dudes, but they actually talk about their emotions. And I'm like, well, not all the time. You just got a really sensitive hero in this one book. So even if they're tattooed and bearded and kind of growly, sometimes they're not, sometimes they're more a beta alpha, meaning they can be a little more sensitive when the time comes, or maybe they're just blockheaded and fun to be able to break apart to try to figure out what's going on inside there.
Yeah, it must be fun to like get in touch with their inner, feelings as a writer.
Which any guys listening to this going, really, really, that's what you're, hey, and it works because that is what I like to read. So therefore that's what I like to write.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And for the dudes out there, that's what us women are looking for. Just an FYI.
I know. Yeah. A friend once told me if you are a single guy trying to figure out exactly how women work and you want to be able to find the right woman, pick up a romance novel and try to figure and start there because we write what we like.
Oh my gosh, the keys to the kingdom right there. Oh my God.
I know.
That's so true though. That's crazy good advice. But it depends because it could be like the contemporary romance, that could be a historical. They range very wildly.
Yep. But the human dynamic, even if they're not technically human, is still going to be there.
Oh, totally. That is a very good point. And because we have to relate to the characters on a very human level. That's the success. So I have to ask, because I follow your Instagram and I'm a personal fan. So your cat Sunday is often a star on your Instagram and lays across your keyboard and likes to help you quote unquote write. And whenever you post Sunday, I get really excited. And so one of the questions we get asked most often at Spark is about author platform. And even though Sunday is, just like a simple post, how do you keep your author platform so fun and engaging for your readers?
People keep saying the word brand, and then you just don't really know what that means. Is it the color of your logo? Is it exactly who you are as a person? And I try to think of it as who Carrie and Ryan is on the fun side. And so my cat, I am a cat lady. I have 4 cats in my house. They're all rescues. I didn't mean to collect 4. It just happened over time. And so Sunday's the youngest. She'll be a year old in a couple months. And she's a polydactyl, so she has 7 toes on each foot. And so she has thumbs and she picks things up for me. And because she was abused as a kitten, she's very, very cuddly. And so therefore,
Aww.
No matter what I'm doing, like as I was trying to write this morning, she was all over my lap trying to get pet. And she also loves being on camera. And so that totally works for my readers and for me on Instagram, and Facebook and other places. So, fun and engaging isn't just me, hey, buy my book. It's, hey, this is my type of hero. What do you guys think? Or, hey, here's my cat who happens to be sitting next to my book in a non-strategically placed photo. And so that only happens a couple times. If I'm trying to do photos for Instagram of my book, she usually ends up in them because she can't leave me alone. So it actually works out really well. So my posts are me cooking, my cats, or my books. That's pretty much who I am, other than going out on walks. But I take the same 1 mile walk like every day, and that gets boring after a while. So
yeah. But it gives readers a really good idea of like who you are, which is the whole point. You're being social on social media.
Yeah, and my other 3 cats are sometimes on there, but they actually like have their own spaces in the house. Sunday is wherever I'm at. In fact, she's like on my lap as I'm talking to you.
She's kind of the best. I love Sunday.
Me too. And her name's adorable. That was her foster mom's had named her, and I kept it.
It suits her really well because she's like she's so sweet and Sunday and sweet.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Except for if she's chewing cords, and then she's not very sweet. But that doesn't go on Instagram. Actually, it might at one point next.
I'm going to end with one final question. If there was one thing above all others that you wish someone had told you before you began your book journey, what would it be? I know this is a tough one.
I know. There's many things, but the main thing is the decisions that you make now aren't going to be the ones that are set in stone later. So yes, make choices, but don't stress out to the point that you never make those choices. As an indie publisher, if something's not working, you can change your cover. If something's not working, you can change it. But as long as you start from a professional level and make that choice, you've made it. You can keep going forward.
That's really good advice. And all of the indie authors and publishers out there, please take that advice, because I think experimentation within the world of indie publishing is one of the beautiful things of it. So I think that's really good advice. Oh, and also one last question. I lied. This is really the final question because I just have to pick your brain. What do you think is going to be hot in romance this year?
If I knew, I'd be writing it. No, kidding.
Of course, if you'd be writing it.
I know. See, I don't know. Right now, what I see people asking for more is paranormal. But what I see people going, oh my God, over is the tail end of royal stuff. So like the bodyguards of royals, things like that. Because the royal wedding's coming up this month, so we're gonna get some, maybe not princesses and dukes, but we may get some people connected to the royals. I can see that, and then there's a lot of people asking for more paranormal out there.
Ooh, so it's making a resurgence. I love it.
That'd
That's
be nice,
awesome.
because half of my books are paranormal, and so they're out there. As a author and a reader, my goal this year is to find new readers and to find more diverse authors and find more diverse stories. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Oh, I love it. And I know you'll succeed because you're just a fantastic writer, and your books are absolutely fabulous. And as a personal fan, I'm just very excited to have talked to you, Carrie Ann, today. So thank you for coming on our podcast. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course. And please check out Carrie Ann's books. They're really amazing. Her Montgomery Inc., the Gallagher Brothers series, Redwood Pack, Town Pack. There's so many others. I mean, just go check them out. They're really great. Until next time, thank you for joining Go Publish Yourself, and tune in next time for another great author spotlight. Thank you, everyone.
Hi, everyone. This is Robin Cutler, Director of IngramSpark. Thanks so much for tuning in to this special Spotlight feature episode where authors and publishers just like you share their experience on what's worked for them. We hope these episodes inspire you on your own publishing journey. And if you're ready to publish today, visit the IngramSpark website. For more tips on publishing like a pro, subscribe to our podcast and weekly blog, or check out our new free online self-publishing courses available in the brand new IngramSpark Academy. Thanks for joining us today, and talk to you soon.